be talking to you today about time management at Emory and during your college experience. So just a little agenda introduction today. We're going to walk through the introduction of time management. We're going to talk about some poor time management. We're also going to show you a little survey that we did. We surveyed a few Emory students through an online survey monkey. We're going to talk about some of the strategies in which you can manage your time. And then we're going to go into our favorite time management tool, which you'll learn about in a little bit, how you can make a typical schedule to enhance your time management, and then we'll have some conclusions. So time management, has anybody here ever felt pressed for time? Just show of hands. So time management is actually defined by the various means by which people manage their time and use their resources to make the most of using their time. So obviously I see a lot of you have felt pressed for time before, and you're not alone. A lot of people, especially in their freshman year, have felt this way. So we're going to go through little simple strategies that you can use that are very easy and very simple that can probably drastically change your life if you just know to think about it in that way. And we're going to go through it and show you that you are not alone. And there's a survey that we did that a lot of Emory students, I think there was 28 of them, feel the same way that you do.
So we composed this survey. We had 28 participants. We just sent out a link from SurveyMonkey, and we put it on Facebook. So of the people that took the survey, 92% were between the ages of 17 and 22. 85% were female. Okay, so we asked people, have you ever felt pressure for time at Emory? 85% of people said yes. Despite that, 40% admitted to not using any form of time management skills. So we wanted to talk about what can happen if you have no time management skills or if you're under a constant state of stress. So cortisol is the body's stress hormone. It's secreted whenever the body is under stress. In small doses, such as acute stressors, cortisol can lead to increased craving for fatty and sugary foods, and which can lead to breakouts and just the constant feeling of your heart beating and just constantly feeling stressed. But under long term, such as chronic stress, caused by maybe constant procrastination, it can be secreted in large amounts, and that can lead to weaker muscle tone, thinner skin, and female decreased menstruation. And in extreme cases, cortisol can lead to the degradation of insulin, which can lead to type 2 diabetes. So things such as stress have a drastic effect on the body.
Here are some of the strategies that we came up with that we felt were best in managing your time. Making to-do lists. Personally, I love doing that. I love making lists, crossing them off, seeing what I've done and what I haven't done. There's also a quadrant system, which we're going to go into a little more detail in a little bit, that leads to making a detailed schedule so you can actually manage your time by the hour if you wanted to. Schedule and reserve library time. There actually are rooms in the library, if you're not aware, that you can go in and you can schedule time for that are private rooms. Most of them have a computer. You can pull up your presentations, you can pull up your work, and it's actually really good to meet with small groups. You can reserve that at the front desk. Have a buddy system. A lot of times, if you know that you could potentially be forgetting some important things in your schedule, maybe have a friend who maybe your roommate that you live with just remind you of the really important things and the really big projects that are coming up, so you just have another person reminding you of these things so you know that you have the security of that. And lastly, plan your semester courses well. I'd say this is really important in talking to past students who have taken classes that you're potentially interested in, because you may not know that the course load is very intensive, so you may not want to take 4 classes that are extremely hard on your schedule and have a lot of work to do. And
so we're going to go into the quadrant system. So I'm sure some of us have felt like we wish that there were more hours in a day, but unfortunately there's only 24 hours in a day and 168 hours in a week. So we can use those times and divide the tasks that need to be completed by using the quadrant system. So in the first quadrant, those are things that need to be attended to immediately, and things that are like permanent in your schedule, such as your classes, work, maybe a paper that you have to prepare for the next day. And those are things that you should put on your schedule first. In quadrant 2, those are things that are important, but they're not necessarily things that you have to attend to right now. So those are relationship issues, maybe calling your mom, saying hi. You should always keep them in the back of your head. Quadrant 3 are things that are urgent, meaning you need to attend to them or decide whether you are going to attend to them or if you're going to push them off to a later time, such as phone calls or checking your email and replying to an email. And quadrant 4 is a quadrant that we have to manage well. Those are things that are fun for us, maybe video games, excessive TV. Those are things that we need to indulge in, but we need to keep to a minimum.
These are just some tips that we came up with to making this quadrant and making the schedule. Add time for things that have urgent due dates. Those are definitely going to be your top priority. You're definitely going to want to put those first on the list, knock them out early because you don't want to be stressing over something with a last minute deadline. Add in time for your work and your study time. I think that it's a good idea to sometimes schedule in study time for your classes because you may be really caught up in your schedule and you may get really busy. It's definitely a good idea to make sure you have that time to make sure you're getting your work done. Add in meetings and time for eating. These may not be as important, or well, obviously eating is very important, but you may not think to schedule in time for eating because you're so busy during the day. You may just forget to eat, or you may forget to grab something, and then you realize later that's definitely not healthy. So in the case that you're extremely busy and have poor time management, you should probably just add in a little time for eating.
Okay, so we put up here what maybe someone's typical schedule would look like. The time that's not on here are the times that we expect maybe sleep or some kind of planning for sleep, like such as showering. So the first thing we put in were the things that belong in quadrant 1, such as class and work. The second things we put in are the things that are in brown, and those are things such as gym, lunch, dinner, and just other things that you can insert in your schedule at your own will. What we put in gray are things that belong in the third quadrant, such as studying, calling your parents, planning for the next day. And the fourth quadrant, we put things such as relaxing in bed, meditating on Saturday and Sunday mornings, and hanging out with friends, go out time at any time. So we allotted time for that heavily on Saturday and Sunday so that it will give you time to rejuvenate for the next week.
Just remember that you're definitely not alone, and there's other people that are feeling this way, so you should not worry about that. We think that the 4-quadrant system and then making a schedule is a really effective way of managing your time. And just remember to be ranking your activities and your due dates by most important to least important, so you know what your priorities are and what you have to get done. And if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
So we're going to go over a little bit of Emory resources, such as the Emory Counseling Center, Emory Nutritionist, ePass, and Career Center. Those are all times that you can put in your schedule and allot specific times for other things.